Alright, we got a comparison today that I was asked to do, and we're going to compare a Martin DM over here and the Shops 1972 highly modified D-18s. And I'm going to play them in the regular A to B thing, and then we'll talk about them a little bit, and then I'll play a little bit more on them just to play. So. Alright, so the DM. The DM is a very low. I think it's the lowest Martin made. Maybe. I don't know about that. But it's down to the bottom of the pile on the Martin spectrum. $400 for this thing. $450. $450 for this. The big advantage of it, it's got a solid spruce top on it. I showed some pictures of it previously in the other video of the interior, and from that we could see, which I've seen this before. First of all, 1996, so it's got some age on it. It's got some wear on it here, which is honest wear, and up here, and again, I think that must have been a thumb picker or something. I don't know. I got it on reverb. So anyway, Inside, it's got a pretty large maple bridge plate, which they're trying to use as a bracing. I can tell by the way it's designed. It's only got one tone bar that comes straight across here. It has X bracing that is not scalloped, but it is tapered. Probably easier to manufacture that way. You just shave it off. So it's a tapered bracing. It has no popsicle brace, but it has the A-frame bracing, which comes off of the X braces up here and comes across and braces up the neck block right there. That's a really good design, in my opinion. The A-frame bracing is one of my favorite Martin bracings. I think the best A-frame bracing is what they call maybe the A-frame hybrid, but it'd be on the D-16, maybe the D-1R, but I can't remember for sure. But I think on the D-16 for sure. And it's got the A-frame up here, so it has no popsicle brace. It has two tone bars on the 16, two tone bars, and they're all scalloped, really nice. That D-16, I think, is the bracing that I think is the best, aside from authentic bracing with which is highly glued on. So anyway, but this DM has got very, very basic bracing. If you put medium gauge strings on it, it'll probably belly it down here. I'm pretty sure this has got light gauge strings. These are still the same strings that were on it when it came to me, and they're in good condition, so I didn't bother changing them. Normally, I can tell light gauge strings from the flex. These don't feel real soft, but when I go back to the D-18 over here, which I know has a true medium gauge, that one feels stiffer. So whatever it has, we'll find out. The top is great. There's no belly at all in it, so, This one has a micarta saddle, which tends to give it a little bit of a warmer sound. And watch the other videos I did the setup on it. It had a pickup in it, and I just took the pickup out, took the under saddle pickup out, and I put a hot rosewood shim in there to raise the saddle up, and that's all I did to it. I'm not doing a lot of work on this. This is a beginner's, learner's guitar, and I think it's a mistake to put a lot of money into wanting to do a lot of work. Just leave it alone, let it be what it is, and what we saw, it sounds good, So anyway, the things that I've done here are tried to tame down some of the inherent brightness and what I would describe as a lack of depth to the sound. That lack of depth comes from not having a second tone bar, primarily. And later on, when I get some time to experiment with this, I'll probably see about putting a second tone bar in there, just to document it, just to see what we find out. But my micarta saddle, it's got ebony bridge pins in it now, and that's all I've done. I took the pickup out. It's got a crayon nut, which is countertop material. For this level of guitar, that's perfectly fine. The spacing is great on it. It has closed back tuners, which I normally don't like, but these have the small buttons on it, which makes them good, as opposed to the great big button on a Grover Ridermatic. The main thing about the tuners, the main reason I like open backs is for the balance of the guitar. Heavy tuners make it fall. This one isn't bad, because these are fairly light tuners. They're lighter than Rotomatics. All right, so playing. Also notice the on the DMs and some of the newer Martins, how they run the pins way back here, and they stagger them along with the saddle. So the saddle goes at an angle like this. It's further back on the bass side than the treble, and the pins follow that. I think that's a smart design because it makes equal pressure. Collings uses the same approach. The one thing that I don't like about it is the pins are really far back from the saddle. So you lose a little bit of the angle that you could have had. They try to create that by ramping it. I feel like they'd have been better off pushing those pins back up a little bit. But, it's a minor point. I just pointing out a design thing here. As opposed to over here in the D-18, you can see here that this one has pins that go straight across the bridge, and the saddle is an angle, so the break angle is greater on the E and the A, and then it gets lesser as you go across, and so that creates a varying break angle. But look at the distance from the pin to the saddle, even over here. And I wish Martin, well, Collings did it right, you know. Collings usually does do pretty good right. Take the spacing from the D and the G, for instance, and use that as your basis. The E is too close, the little e is too far back. But the D and the G's are really good. So, anyway, that's what I wish they would have done, but nobody asked me, so my opinion doesn't matter. So it was like one of those things where it's a good idea, and the execution, not what I would have done. So, neck-wise, the DM's got a pretty slim neck, especially compared to that 70s, which is not even a particularly chunky 70s, but this is a slim, smooth, even tapered neck. Playing-wise, this thing is really easy to play. It might make my hand tired if I played for a long time, like at Winfield at a jam session for days. It might make my hand a little bit tired because I have found I like chunkier necks a little bit better. They keep my hand open. If you ever do this, you know, you can put your hand out like this, and as you close your hand up a little bit, you can see the muscles get tight. And so that's why your hand gets tired. The muscles here, as your hand closes, tighten up a little bit. And you want this relaxed position here. Whatever that is right there for your hand is a good neck size. And also when I'm talking about neck size, I'm talking about the realistic in your hand feel of the neck. So not just necessarily the neck, but also the combination of the neck, the frets, and the strings, and the action. All of that is what I would call the real neck depth. When you pick it up and put your hand on the strings, what is that depth right there? When I measure necks, that's what I measure. I put the strings down here, and I measure the strings, the frets, everything. So, anyway, the DM has a pretty thin neck, but not bad, you know. I mean, I can play it. So, sound-wise, I feel, of course, like this guitar is very bright, very punchy. It probably cuts good, but it's thin. Doesn't have the complexity that this D-18 does. And this is not even an especially complex D-18. This is a pretty good D-18, but it's not the best D-18 I've ever heard. That 39 Authentic would probably, you know, be that with all of its stuff. But this is a good D-18. But this is it's a bright, punchy, thin sounding guitar, but I do like it, you know. It's got its character. And this is obviously a very well played guitar. So this one has been played, pounded on. It's 1996, which makes it, 27 years old? Yeah, 27 years old. Man, that's a pretty good age, you know. It's not a 72, you know. That guitar is what now? 50 years old? Yeah. I'm a 62 model. So this guitar is 52 years old. Twice as old, basically. Yeah, a lot to be said for age. Some of that depth will come in there from the age. Stuff like that. So it's not necessarily that this is a cheap guitar. There's also a little bit of the age factor going in. The 72 D-18 is twice as old as this guitar, but this is still 27 years old, which is not brand new. So, all right, so playing it. What I like is the balance there. It sounds like a guitar, you know. Sounds like a Martin guitar. It doesn't sound cheap to me. Even though the tone is a little bit thin, bright, punchy sort of thing, it does not sound like a cheap guitar. I would not hesitate to take this to any gig in the world, especially with the pickup that was in it. If you're going to plug in, you know, this is a plug-in guitar. If you were plugging in on gigs all the time, I would not hesitate one instant to play this guitar. That thin tone will mic and pick up really well. This is a studio quality mic. This is a, quote, studio. But in a live performance with a more dynamic directional mic, in all of the noise on the stage and all of the other noise and stuff, this guitar will mic really good. So, great performance guitar, you know. Excellent guitar to learn on. comfortable. It does sound good. It's loud. It's not quiet. Alright, let's just play on it a little bit, okay? Super easy to play. I lowered the action down because it is, again, for a beginner. It's about 88 thousandths of an inch right now, so it's less than 3/32. And like I said, I think it has light gauge strings on it. Neck is flat. Got plenty of saddle. It plays good. Let's play something I haven't played in a long time. If I can even remember it. Man, it plays great. I have not played that song in 20 years. I mean, it's been 10 years. I used to play it a lot. It used to be kind of my standard tune to check out a guitar because you get such a wide variety of tones from, with the open E, and then up here, it pretty covers the whole neck, And then I quit playing it for some reason, But it's a good tune for that. So this guitar, having not played that for such a long time, this guitar was extremely reactive. Man, I had no problem playing that. Let's play it on the D-18, and I'll show you what I mean. Because, all right, I confess I did practice it just a little bit before I came back here trying to remember it. And I noticed right away on the D-18 I had a little bit more trouble getting some of those notes because the strings felt stiffer. So, but let's see what it sounds like on this. See? And on that, I feel like the DM snapped better, Man, I hit that on the DM and it was like... And that thing just went... Boom, bam, bam. I mean, it was loud. It was easier to pull those notes out of that guitar. So anyway. And there, a flop. I didn't see that on that guitar. I think it's the gauge of the strings again. There's something about this guitar that's a little harder to play than that one. Also, I've been playing a different instrument lately. I know. Yeah, I got a banjo. And so I've been used to these super light strings. It's taking me a minute to get back to guitar strings again. So anyway, you can see some differences here. Just in the ability to play stuff, that DM is nice. It's easy to play. think I just need to get used to this guitar again. But my point is here is that the DM was reactive and worked with me a little bit easier. So that's pretty nice. It's pretty easy to play. You know, the full D-18 here, the 72, which is completely modified, completely hot rod. It's got a more complex tone to it. It rumbles better, you know, down here. Right there. It's got a nice rumble and growl to it that the DM doesn't have. But when I got this note here, I just thought that DM snapped better. I know it's thinner, but you know, the rake comes through better to me. The rake would be this. So another example of a rake would be man, that's got some snap to it. That's fun. And this one doesn't do that quite as well. Because that's a richer guitar. Richer guitar tones don't have that snap to them. So it doesn't have that aggressive sound to it. It's fuller, it's richer, sounds way better on this kind of thing, you know. Sounds wonderful there, which that one sounds a little harsh, but you know, I would play different things on the two guitars, so I think that DM's a lot of fun, especially for $450. You know, $450 on this guitar would get you the bridge plate, and the neck reset. You know, you haven't got the guitar yet, so this is a better guitar. There's no question. I mean, it's you know, but you always try to adapt yourself to the guitar. So you play the guitar and you think, what's this guitar really good at? You know, what's this guitar good at? What's it not good at? I probably would not be playing Hendrix on this, but I'd play it on that, you know. And so again, when I did the restaurant gig, well, I went to this restaurant and played for, well, I don't know, 2-3 years. It was open mic technically, but I'd get there a lot of times, and I'd be the only person there for 3 hours, and I'd just play solo guitar for 3 hours, and you can't flat pick fiddle tunes for 3 hours. You know, people have to hear other stuff. So that's when I would play some of the Hendrix stuff, and I would play Irish jigs, and I would play the Pink Panther theme, you know, and then the bluegrass stuff. And I just play everything that I could possibly think of in practice. I have to practice, you know, I can't just pull the Pink Panther theme out of the air. But I would play mandolin, and I'd play mandola. I'd play resonator guitar. I took the frailing banjo, you know, but I played everything, and I had one guitar with me because I had these other instruments. So that's where I looked for one of my Prue guitars, because they're so snappy, and they can do that Hendrix thing and make it sound, you know, pretty cool. At least good enough, you know. Might not be the guitar you would want to use for Norman Blake, you know. Might not be the guitar you'd want to use for that sort of sound, but you could get away with it enough. So, anyway, that's the DM. You guys wanted to hear it compared against the D-18. I mean, obviously, I think the D-18 is a better guitar, a better acoustic guitar, but that DM could absolutely have a place in the stable. And once again, if I was plugging in, boom, man, I would not hesitate to play this guitar for all kinds of stuff, you know. I haven't even begun to modify it yet. It is stock. It's got the tall back braces, and if I went in there and shaved those two back braces down, we would get a more complex, deeper, richer sound right away. So I haven't even done that. I'd put a second tone bar in there that wouldn't be too bad. I might also use a trick that I have never really talked about on video. Yeah, it's called the Prue Magic Tone Enhancer, which is a name that I made up. It's Mario Prue's invention, and I've used it on a couple of guitars, and I just called it that for fun, the Prue Magic Tone Enhancer, because it's a thing that really shouldn't really work, but it can do some pretty interesting things to guitar. And basically what it is you basically just take a strip of rosewood, ebony. You can play with the materials, see what you like, and you run it across the bridge plate behind the bridge right here, like right on the edge of the bridge plate is what I do. Mario puts it on the top. So it's almost like a brace that runs back behind here. And we played around with it a lot. We played around with moving it forwards and backwards and angling it and using different woods. And it all produces a little bit different results. But what it does is it really richens up that bottom end. Some guitars, it can make it too tubby. And it takes you about a month or two to really kick in, too. It's not immediate. But you'll be playing it and you'll think, I didn't have that before. I put it on my Collings. I had a Collings Clarence White, and which was a wonderful guitar, but it had no bass. Collings, if you know Collings, are all high end. And anyway, I don't want to get too much into the thing, but I haven't even begun to. I'm just talking too much on it. Okay, I've not even begun to modify this DM, and I think I could modify it to push it closer to that, but without losing the qualities of this. I would do the back braces. I would do the back braces, and then I would leave it alone for a while and see what I thought about that. But as is, for $450, heck yeah. Man, I'd play that. All right, let's play it some more. You can hear in that mid-range, it's a little harsh. Doesn't quite have the rumble and depth and growl that the regular D-18. It's a little harsh in there. I might play with a different pick. But, again. The snap is incredible though, yeah. Jeez. Golly. You could see when I went to play 9 Pound Hammer and I did that bend, and gosh, man, me can scream this thing. And part of that's that thin tone. It's like a Telecaster, even, as opposed to like a Les Paul. Of course, Les Pauls can scream pretty good too, but it's just it's a fundamental bright tone. But I could hear it coming, and that's harsher. That's harsher than the 18. Right there. It's tubby, just a little. But I'm nitpicking here, you know. I'm really looking for flaws on it. And I probably wouldn't focus my playing on that kind of thing. I'd be doing that screaming treble stuff on this. So, there's a DM. Gosh, you know, 450, 500 bucks. I look at several of them on Reverb. Some of them had a few problems. They had cracks on the top and things like that. I like this one the best because it had honest wear on it. And it didn't have any cracks in it. It had a pickup, which I didn't really care about. But, you know, there it is. It's got some scratches, dings. I don't care about that. And the binding's a little bit loose over here. I don't care about that. They did a sloppy job of fixing it. I could fix it better, but it's not a big deal. It's not coming off. So, for learners, students, guitar, this thing's nice. All right. See you later.